What's up, you guys and gals? This is a review man, and today I am doing another top 10 list. And this one top 10 list is one of my personal favorite lists. I've been thinking, and since the last episode of this fourth season came out yesterday, I'm going to do top 10 epic rap battles of history. Now, I'm going to narrow 57 rap battles, all good contenders, down to 10 battles. And who knows, if this video does good, I may do another top 10 epic rap battles of history list. So without anyway, guys, here is number 10. Number 10 is Lewis and Clark explorers. Lewis and Clark, the explorers that discovered most of America with Sacagawea, versus the time-traveling duo Bill and Ted. Now, they go back and forth with each other about how Lewis and Clark are better explorers and Bill and Ted are nothing without without Rufus, which is the dude that gave them the time-traveling phone booth, which allowed them to pass their history report. And yeah, so Lewis and Clark was played by Rhett and Link, and the Bill and Ted was played by Nice Peter and Epic Lloyd. And at the end of and all throughout the battle, there's different appearances like Socrates or Socrates, like they call him in the movie. Genghis Khan, Abe Lincoln, Beethoven, Joan of Arc, and a bunch of other historical references. And at the end of the battle, they say, we offer you peace with these resplendent medallions, and claim this battle for the Wild Stallions. And the Wild Stallions is Bill and Ted's band. So that's number 10, Bill and Ted versus Lewis and Clark. Coming in at number 9. Number 9 is a complication mixed together of 3 battles that can also the Darth Vader versus Adolf Hitler trilogy. Now in this one they go back and forth. In the first battle, at the end of the first battle, Vader freezes Hitler in carbonite just like Han Solo did in Star Wars. In the second battle, what happened in the second battle? In the second battle, he unthaws him, and in the third battle, they end it off because it's supposed to take place within. It's supposed to take place within everything. So yeah, they're battling back and forth about how Hitler's evil, Vader's evil, and how Hitler is better than Vader because Vader bows down to Mickey Mouse because Disney brought out Lucasfilms, which made the Star Wars trilogy, the Star Wars movies. So yeah, that's and Hitler and Vader are played by Epic Lloyd and Nice Peter, which are the creators of the Epic Rap Battles of History. And so that was number 9. Coming in at number 8. Number 8 is Donald Trump versus Ebenezer Scrooge. Now this one is sort of like a rap battle version of a Christmas Carol. Scrooge comes in and tells him, "Wake up, Scrooge! I'm the ghost, and there's gonna be lots of ghosts coming after you." And Scrooge is like, "Man, I don't believe you. I don't believe those apparitions about ghosts, and I don't believe that hair." And then J.P. Morgan comes in as the ghost of Rich Dude's Past, or the Ghost of Christmas Past, and he comes in and he says, "Man, you should have kissed that girl, and your money's gonna tear you apart." And Scrooge comes back in with, "Man, your raps don't nerve me, they're atrocious. What frightens me the ghost is your ghost proboscis. Business and success, that's life I selected. Enough for your business of the past, I'm not affected." And then here comes old Kanye West with as the Ghost of Christmas Present, saying, "Man, you need to put some friends on your wish list for Christmas, and if you did, you'd be sharing your money with someone homeless." And then he pulls up his robe like the Ghost of Christmas Present did, and he shows the homeless. And then Scrooge is like, "Man, you okay, I believe you." But according to that first ghost, well, you still got one more specter, and then here comes the final ghost saying, "Boom, you're gonna die, but no one to love you and no one to cry." And he's basically saying that he comes on in with, "You're gonna die," and then at the end of it, Scrooge turns around and he said, "Merry Christmas, I've changed." And so yeah, that was number 8. Epic rap battle, Scrooge versus Trump. That was number 8. Number 7. Coming in at number 7. Number 7 is one that just came, like their recent most epic rap battle of history at the end of season 4. It was Jim Henson versus Stan Lee. Stan Lee is like the creator of Marvel, all the Marvel characters, and Jim Henson is the creator of the Muppets. And so they're battling back and forth. And then they find out that Stan starts apologizing like, "Man, you know what, I'm sorry. It's hard for me to control my rage, but you know what, at my age it's hard to control a lot." And so and then Jim comes back with, "You know what, man, you don't need to apologize. The Four will always be fantastic. The Hulk will always be incredible, and no man can muck with what we left behind." And then next thing you see is them looking this way, and two heads. And it turns out it's Walt Disney coming with us saying, "You know what, man, I brought all of y'all, and if you're working for Disney, you don't get to get a break. And I own this battle. In fact, I own the whole series. And I own everything in the world. And I used 3 circles to make a mouse, the biggest thing in the world." And then he finishes with, "You work for Disney now." And yeah, that was number 7. It was the latest ever rap battle of history. It was the end of season 4. And so yeah, that was number 7. Coming in at number 6. Number 6 is The Ghostbusters versus the MythBusters. That's right, we have the boys from Uptown New York versus the boys from the MythBusters Studios battling. And the MythBusters argument in this entire thing is ghosts aren't real, but we're going to show you some stuff with our own MythBusters. And then the MythBusters, we have Adam, Jamie, Tori, Grant, and Carrie. And in the Ghostbusters, we have the crew. We have Ray, Egon, Winston, and somebody else. And then at the end of it, one of the MythBusters is like, "I can't think of anything." And then he's like, "Just say the first thing that pops into your mind." And then here comes the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man to finish out the battle. And so yeah, that's number 6. Number 5. Coming in at number 5. Number 5 is one of my personal favorites. Blackbeard versus Al Capone. Blackbeard, the beard in black from South Carolina versus mobster Al Capone. They're both arguing back and forth like Blackbeard's like, "I'm gonna take you down and I'm gonna put you in the David Jones locker. And if you survived Alcatraz, I'm sure you did just fine. If you drop the soap a little like you dropped dope rhyme." And then Al Capone comes on back with, "I'm a busy man, Captain Crunch, trying to make this squeak." And so he's basically saying that he's going to take Blackbeard now, and he's going to pretty much end all the pirates. And then at the end is one of my least favorite lines because I'm from South Carolina. But take your little ship and go home. Tell South Carolina Blackbeard got Capone. Which basically means Capone is saying that he won this battle. So yeah, that was number 5, I think. Yeah, number 5. Blackbeard versus Capone. Number 4 is Doc Brown versus Doctor Who. Doc Brown is the main dude from Back to the Future that created the time machine and went back in time, then went forward in time, then went back forward, back forward, back forward. And Doctor Who is a British TV show. It's about a guy in a time traveling phone booth, and most of Doctor Who's lines is like, "Man, you never got out of Hill Valley. How can you expect to save the world if you never got out of Hill Valley?" And Doc Brown's lines are basically pretty much, "Man, you're not a cat with 9 lives. You're with 13." Because apparently the Doctor is supposed to have 13 lives. 13 regenerations. Every time he gets killed, he gets regenerated. So he gets killed by a Dalek in the rat battle controlled by Doc Brown, and then he comes back as another Doctor. And that Doctor, he's like, does all this fast battle rapping, like saying, "You don't need to be hanging around with that kid, and that kid that you're hanging around with has an edible complex," which means he just basically has a thing for his mom because Marty went back to 1955 and his mom fell in love with him. And so, yeah, Doc Brown ends this battle with, "You're not a cat with 9 lives, you're with 13. So, yeah, that was number 4, Doc Brown versus Doctor Who. Coming in at number 3. Number 3 is French painter Pablo Picasso versus PBS painter Bob Ross. And Bob Ross did this show on PBS called The Joy of Paint, and that was a big part of Picasso's lines to Pablo, Picasso's lines to Bob, saying, this was one of the lines in the rap battle, "Don't your audience know that you told your whole show you just ripped off your teacher and had an afro? Don't use that word like you know what it is. You painted 30,000 pictures of bushes and sticks." And Bob's lines are like, "Man, you're always little genius. You're a moody little genius, always so serious. I know, you must be on your blue period. My work is melancholy. I'm painting happy little trees." Because that was a big part of what Bob did in the show, The Joy of Paint, was paint happy little trees. He said, "Man, we don't make mistakes, we just make happy accidents. Now I'm going to take my little paintbrush and I'm going to paint a happy little tree right there. And if you got any anger problems, just use a little bird and they'll fly away." And so, yeah. And then Bob comes back when he's like, "Well, Bob is dropping Bible at this Cornico, served 20 years, Air Force, United States of America." Because Bob was an American soldier. Yeah, and then he comes back at the end, "We don't believe in mistakes. Let's just step into me. Yo, Pablo, you just got your happy little ass beat." And so, yeah, that was number 3. And we're down to the final 2. Number 2, Hannibal Lecter versus Jack the Ripper. Hannibal Lecter is the main character in the Silence of the Lambs series, and Jack the Ripper is this killer that goes around killing hoes in London. And so, yeah, they go back and forth in the battle. Like, Jack starts off with saying, "You know what? I'm the better serial killer. You're fake, and I never got caught. You spend most of your time behind doors and behind the bars while I never got caught." And then Lecter comes back with, "Jack, you know what? You're just talking about yourself all the time. You never mentioned me once in those lines." And so then Lecter's saying, "You know what? Your verse isn't worth a trip in the basket. And isn't worth a trip in this jacket," talking about a straight jacket. And then Jack comes back with, "I'm real, and you're fake," and all this other junk. And then Lecter finishes off with Lecter finishes off with, "I'm gonna roast both your balls in my hibachi, because for a serial killer you're as tasteless as a bowl of kashi. Barney, take me back to solitary confinement, because this dirty little lamb has just been silenced." So yeah, that was number 2. And my top my top epic rap battle of history pick is coming up next. Epic rap battle of history top pick number 1 for seasons 1 through 4 comes what season was that in? I forgot what season it was in, but it's Batman versus Sherlock Holmes. Batman starts off with, "You know what? I read your books. I had Alfred read your books. He told me they sucked, and you're not selfish. You're not smart. You're selfish. You're endangered everyone's life. Why don't you let you and your boyfriend here go home to his wife?" And Batman is pretty much tearing down Sherlock Holmes, saying, "Nobody likes you." And then Sherlock Holmes comes back with, "You know what? I'd introduce this to stand as Bruce Wayne. The billionaire, yes, his wealth will allow his adversary of ours to afford the toys he needs since he has no superpowers." And then he's basically saying that, "Batman, you're fake, and the only reason you dress up as a bat is the..." Oh wait, that's the next line. Anyway, he's just saying, "Batman, you're weak, you're fake, and you have no real superpowers." And then Batman comes back with, "My sidekick only comes around when he's needed," and then Robin jumps in saying, "I'm going to kick your butt, and I'm going to bite your butt harder than those hounds down in Baskerville." And then after that, Sherlock Holmes is trying to deduce what to say in his next line by doing like this inner monologue thing. And then he comes back with, "Batman, pretty much Batman, that you're weak, and the reason that you mask your face is because your parents' homicide." And so yeah. And then he comes back at the end with, "Dissing these dynamic douchebags will be elementary, my dear Watson, because him and Watson are in this battle." And so yeah, that was my top 10 list. Thanks for watching, you guys. That was my top 10 epic rap battles of history list. What's your favorite epic rap battle of history? Leave it in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.